Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a beautiful weekend. Whatever you decided to do. I got back very late last night from Darwin, so we're a little on the tired side, but that's okay. I actually have such a juicy show for you guys today, so I'm super excited. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so 4 weeks going down now. So we've had 4 weeks of shows, which has been unbelievable. I've learned so many new things and I have made sure that I have soaked in every second of it. So being that it's Monday, and I did actually decide that I wanted to do like Mindset Monday, but I'm going to change that right now. Surprise, surprise, because I want it to be Mindful Monday instead. So coming up today, I actually went and interviewed. Actually, let me start by saying I actually wanted to interview a bucket load of drivers on the weekend. However, the problem is that I was very, very busy on the weekend. And so instead I got some media, part of the commentary team, which is still very important. And I asked them all the same question. I asked them all, if you could give yourself one piece of advice 10 years ago, what would it be? And I picked 10 years because I thought to myself, like 10 years is enough time where it's like still relevant and current. But then at the same time, it's like you kind of want, like if you went back to those times, often we say like, if I went back with the knowledge that I've got now, which we can't, until somebody invents a time machine. So when that happens, just let me know. So basically the whole theme of this show, which I think is perfect for a Monday, as we like go to be the most productive versions of ourselves and want to like hustle away. So the theme today is to slow down, switch off and soak it up. Okay. And it will make more sense as I go through when you hear my guest interviews. So I'm really excited and I'm really, really grateful as well. So yeah, obviously I have access to some incredible people who I literally pulled aside on the weekend, was like, I need to interview for my show. And yeah, they're very willing. So that's awesome. Now, some of them are a little bit motorsport specific, but you can take the sort of general gist of them from what they're saying. Okay. I also have some new tunes for you guys, which you are going to love. It's so funny now. Like, you know how normally you have that friend that you like always send reels or like TikToks to or like whatever? I started doing that to myself because, I want to send these songs to myself so that I can contact the artist and say, hey, do you guys mind if I feature your music on my show? And 99% of the time, everyone has been very, very willing. So, okay. So I want to give you some stats. I want to kind of talk about I guess, key themes we'll be mentioning this morning. So the average Aussie now spends almost 3 hours a day on their phone. Oh yeah, this is the other thing. This is just wildly relevant. The other thing I'm going to be touching on is our attention spans. So as somebody who works in marketing, I am literally like my whole life is revolving around trying to stop the scroll. Okay. And I find my attention span is so short, and it's crazy because like in the last week, I've had to be really like present and here and really engaging and all the things which I really, really want to be super present and be super engaged in what I'm saying, and making sure in sort of like my head is like, I want to deliver like all of this cool stuff. So anyway, I wanted to also talk about how much time we're sort of losing to scrolling on our phone. So I am all for intentional scrolling. I love a good scroll hole when I'm like so brain dead that I literally can't do anything. Like it's just, I've got nothing left in the tank. But other times when I've noticed in myself when I'm trying to escape from something that it's not great. So, and I guess it's because it works, right? Like the whole point of those platforms are to like keep us on the platform. So that's why there's things that exist like algorithms and whatnot. But anyway, so let me go back to my stat. The average Aussie now spends almost 3 hours a day on their phone, and our attention drifts off whatever's in front of us every 47 seconds. 47 seconds. Like that, to me, that is absolutely wild. So I guess one question I now can't stop thinking about is like, when did I last do one thing properly without reaching for my phone? Like, even if I just hold it, it's sort of like it's just wild. Anyway, so we're gonna dive into that. And the other thing I really want to speak about as well is, like, I really touched on it a bit last week, but it is so trending at the moment. It's hustle culture, and the burnout era is over. Now, this study that I'm going to reference to is for people that are a little bit younger than me. And like I alluded to last week, I think the glorification of hustling and working 18 hours a day and doing all the things like that, it was so prevalent. Whereas now everything's done like a complete like 180 where it's like less is more and, all the things. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to reclaim your attention as well as talking about burnout. And I'm also going to play these clips for you first. So like I said, on the weekend, I was up actually, this is what made me think about mindfulness, like first of all. So basically race weekends in the lead up to them, are they like you're running a million miles an hour. And then once you get there, it's sort of like you've done majority of the work. And then it's just sort of the media side of things you've got to worry about when you're there. So I find myself running from from dummy grid back to the paddock, over to pit lane, here, there and everywhere. And I never actually sit down or stop even, because I very rarely sit down, but I really, really stop myself and actually be so present in the fact that my business is where it is. My clientele are who they are, and the people I know and who know me and who I surround myself with is just like amazing. Like I want to sit, I was like really, really, really trying to sit so much in gratitude. Like for example, so my Super 2 driver was racing on the weekend. So obviously Super 2 is basically the secondary category to Supercars, right? So we are in this massive big paddock with all of these drivers walking around me saying, "Hey Megs, like we've been friends forever." And these are people that literally only probably 18 months ago, well, not even probably 18 months ago, I looked up to, like, I was like, I would give anything. And they're like, to have these people acknowledge my existence or even just look in my direction, right? And then there is at the back of the garage where the main games teams pit, there's like this little area where there's like umbrellas, and it's a corporate sort of hospitality area. And then I remember, oh God, this would have been maybe 4 years ago. Yeah, it would have been about that. I went to the Bend, and it's all roped off as well. It's like corporate guests or VIP guests only. And that's just like, oh my God, I would love to sit in there one day. So I feel like last year I took for granted the fact that I sat in those exact spots, like every race round, and I didn't stop to really appreciate it. And that's not true, I did, but I let the stress and the overwhelm and everything else I felt I was feeling and I was dealing with override that. So this weekend I was really trying to be super, super present. So I was like, every time I was standing on dummy grid, and it was just quiet because like when you stand on the dummy grid, so basically it's dummy grid is where they line up before they go out and race. So standing on dummy grid, and it's literally like 2 minutes before they start their engines, and the drivers are, sitting in the car doing whatever their pre-driver prep is. And it's so quiet, like it's like eerily quiet. So you're waiting there. And then all of a sudden they're like, the whistle goes off, and then it's like 1 minute. So the guys like wind up their engines. And I was so conscious of being so present in those moments, because I was like, this is just so cool. Like, how cool is my life? So, and exactly the same deal when I was literally floating in between all of the bits and, all the things and people and, I was really trying to, as much as I was sort of stressed out and, running around like an idiot, I just was trying to be really, really mindful in the moment and unbelievably grateful. I think gratitude was the other massive part of what I really wanted to kind of get across this morning as well, is that it's so easy for us just to go on the next thing. And that's one thing I am really, really good at. I am great at being like, okay, cool. Well, I've done that. So like, what's next? Okay. I'm never truly satisfied with myself. So I think that really being mindful and really actually celebrating things along the way is more important than ever now. So let me play you my interviews. Some of these faces you may recognize if you're watching this on the video. Others voices you may hear when you listen back, or if you're listening to me live. So as I said, I asked them all the same question. So I've got my very good friend Dusty. He does media with me here at Supercars. He's awesome. I also have Josh Graveling. So Joshy is a presenter for The Valley. He was there doing all of the racing broadcast effectively. And I really love Joshy's attitude to life. He's so cool. I have Rusty. So Greg Rust, if you don't know him, he's just an absolute Supercars legend, just an all-round legend. He's so professional in what he does. He's just the coolest person in the world. And his laugh, when you actually make him laugh, is truly one of the best sounds you ever hear in your life. And last but not least, I have Loundy. So I will put these up on my socials as well, because you actually have to see these videos. They're freaking hilarious. But But yeah, so they all beautifully agreed to come on and just to kind of explain that what they would give themselves advice 10 years ago. Okay. So let's start with Dusty. Let's be motivated by Dusty. Okay. So I had to play Dusty's first because I was like, it literally was like the whole anti-theme of the show. Okay, but I really want to show the difference between somebody in his age bracket. So Dusty would be early 20s, I'd imagine. And he is obsessed with his work and he can't sit still for very long. He's like the quintessential ADHD boy. It's hilarious. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm still going to play that one because I just think it is the most adorable thing ever. And whilst I'm in my era of trying to be as productive as possible whilst doing the least amount as possible, I suppose you could say. Yeah, I just think it was just the cutest thing in the world. Okay, let's listen to Joshy. Okay, notice a theme with these two young men. But what Joshy said there that I really loved was, don't try not to doubt yourself, because I think especially in guys, I see it because I surround myself with, especially in the Super 2 category, right? So you've got guys from 18 upwards to probably 22, 23. So in a time of their life where having any kind of emotion or that's not one of anger when they do bad in a race is not really well received. Like, it's a very ego-driven paddock, that one. So I just loved the fact that, Josh, he is going to do great things in commentary. So I'm really excited for Josh and to watch his career. Now, next one up I have is Rusty. So Greg Rust, like I said, absolute legend. He's been in and around the sport forever. He also has a podcast called Rusty's Garage, and he interviews some pretty cool people on that one as well. So I literally pulled Rusty off of the dummy grid when he was literally about to film. I was like, I just need 2 seconds. So let's hear from Rusty. So very broadcast specific, that one. But again, very, very similar. Yeah, very, very similar message as well, is to enjoy every minute and soak it all in. So yeah, the first time I met Rusty, he actually scared the living Jesus out of me. And I was just like, what is life? And I think, like, I touched on this in the podcast, in the show last week, I can't remember, Thursday or Friday, when I met these people. And yeah, now just to be able to grab them just quickly for 2 seconds to grab a soundbite from them is just absolutely wild. Okay, last but not least, and again, if you're watching this on video, you'll see him being a bit silly because he wasn't listening to me. So Loundy, I asked him the same question, so let's hear what he had to say. Not that one. God, they look the same. Sorry, let me try that again. Next. Cool. So very similar again. So I hope that you can take from that just a little bit of like, you know what, like, we can rush around all we like and we can hustle all we like, and that is awesome and we're going to get places. But just like literally take a minute to like ground yourself and put, like, literally stand on your 2 feet and just think like, how cool is life? Life is so cool. So I'm really grateful again to them. So I'll share those on our socials if you want to go back and listen to them. And yeah, I'm just really, really grateful that they take the time out of their day just to help me out. Okay. So before we go into talking about the burnout era being over, I'm going to play you one of my absolute favoriteest mixes in the world right now. And I think it was my goddaughter's first birthday, I made a reel to this song. I can't remember, but it is like, it's a super old school song, and I just love the way that Twin Sick have like redone it. But yeah, have a little listen, see what you think. Just love it. Juicy. Okay, cool. So let me get to talking about burnout. Let's talk about burnout. Okay, so 2026 is being called the year of slow productivity. People are walking away from hustle culture and choosing fewer priorities done properly. Depth focused and rest over looking busy. The phrase comes from Cal Newport's framework: do fewer things, work in a natural pace, obsess over quality. Okay, which I think is really cool. And I'd never actually heard of Cal Newport before, or that framework. So I'm all about it. Now, the beauty of my ADHD is that if I hyper-focus, I will get like 7,000 things done in like 3 minutes. So I am forever trying to find all the efficiencies in my life because I have a lot to get done in a day, and I like to reduce my screen time as much as possible because I know that if I continually say something like, oh, just one more thing and I'll get this done, like, I just never am satisfied with what I've done. So I've gotten a lot better at being able to excel in a shorter amount of time and do like a sprint kind of version of it, instead of being like, sitting at my computer. I mean, look, I still work very long hours, don't get me wrong, but I'm able to kind of like break them up into like parts of the day. And it works really well for me because I can focus on one thing and then I'm like, okay, well, like says, I'm a bit over this now. So I can kind of chuck some Coleman and Co stuff in my day. I can chuck some boutique digital stuff in my day. I have like I said, I've got a massive consulting contract at the moment. And being able to focus on just one thing has been great for my brain because I know that like for that day that I'm with them, it's like nothing else, right? So let me give you some other stats because like this is a little bit scary to be honest. Anyway, so around 40% of Australian employees are experiencing burnout right now. Roughly 4.3 million workers. Well, that is roughly 4.3 million workers. That is from the Elmo Employee Sentiment Index taken in Q3 last year. Like it's a lot. Like 40% of the Australian workforce. And I wonder I also wonder like what does this mean for like our retirement? Like with all of this and I'm like, again, this is absolutely not the point of the podcast, but God, inheritance tax. There we go. I knew it was going to come to me. Inheritance tax. So like I was talking to my dad about this the other day and I was like, why? He's like, oh, we'll just start transferring stuff into your name before I go. And I was like, far out. Like we're working harder than ever. More people are burnt out than ever. And yet I feel like we're losing more money than ever to the government and taxes. So I really do worry about the next generation. And I'm really interested, like, again, with my goddaughter and what she's going to be growing up in and what that all looks like, given the massive shift we've gone through in my, career of like boomers who would, work really, really late and only taking 4 weeks off annual leave a year. And it was the whole, like, the woman would stay at home would work to like swings and roundabouts now where a lot of the Gen Z group, yeah, they're a group of people. They're just like, no, this is not what we want for our life. Like, we don't want to work hard. Like, or not necessarily work hard, but we don't want to hustle. Like, we want to achieve things and work smarter, not harder. So I think we've spent a lot of time being busy as opposed to productive. And that's one thing I really had to learn in my business was like, I can't be just busy. I need to be productive because I run out of time in the day. And again, because like when you work for somebody, it's different because you well, yes, I'm sure you've got targets and KPIs and things like that you got to hit. It's just different when you have a business because if they don't get done, they just don't get done. And it's then your livelihood and your income that's affected. So you find very, very clever ways to do things in the shortest amount of time. So I think we've been measuring ourselves by like how full the day looks, not what we actually finished, and that mattered. So this is why I love things like lists and things that I can check off because otherwise I truly have no idea as to whether I've had a successful day or not. Like I just actually couldn't tell you. I'd be like, I don't know. Like I couldn't tell you what I've done today. And again, because of my attention span, and I should actually dive deeper into this. I might do it for an upcoming episode. I dive deeper into trying to understand like the way that my brain works and the way that I can optimize it the best I possibly can. That's almost getting a little bit toxic for me too, because I'm like, okay, well, I can do this more efficiently and how can I do this better? And how can I, utilize my skills even better and quicker and far, all of these sorts of things. So I think it's really interesting that we are trying to, especially like maybe the millennials is different, is we're trying to reduce that hustle vibe that we sort of got told was really, really important, when we first started business, and that's how you do business, and really trying to like adopt what the Gen Z is doing, where it's like, well, we don't want to work that hard. So we're sort of, I think, in a cool spot in the middle where we can be like, well, we know what working hard looks like. So in the times when that is absolutely the season of life I'm in, like watch me hustle. Okay. I'm going to run a million miles a minute. I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to be the biggest list ticker you ever see in your life. And that serves you brilliantly because that's the part of life where you're at. Okay, but that's not sustainable forever. So yeah, I just think it'll be really interesting to sort of see how this comes over the next few years. Sort of seeing how this all sort of unfolds. But I found that if you focus on one thing at a time, that is actually the best way to do it. So I was like the multitasking queen and I can multitask really, really well. But I get a bit overwhelmed and confused, and I was like, shit, where did I get up to? So I ended up doing the same things in probably the same amount of time, but if I just did one at a time, it would just be probably a lot easier, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this because I just feel like I'm really, really tired right now purely because I got in so late last night and it was a huge weekend, and I have a social battery that lasts very short amount of time, very, very short amount of time. So when I am out all weekend and I'm socializing and I am seeing people and I am trying to be this, hype queen and do all the things, like it is absolutely exhausting to me. So I'll need like a week in my little hermit shell to just like debrief, like compose myself and to feel myself again. So it's really, yeah, I find it really, really interesting that just, yeah, I don't know. I think everything I observe, when I look at it from an observatory perspective, like it's actually just so interesting. Like life is so interesting. Instead of being like, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. And maybe I am slowing my brain down because I was never that observant before. I was always like, my head was in, the clouds while I was trying to do things. And, even and again, I'll relay this back to the racetrack, is because when I was like walking through like crowds and things like that, people would often say, like, stop me and say hi to me because I just wouldn't see them. And it wasn't because I was being rude and it wasn't because of anything except for like my head was anywhere else except for where I was at that given moment. So I really made a point of it on the weekend to like, and this is hard when you're in Darwin and like the sun is blaring into your eyeballs and then you've got glasses on and then, yeah, it was a little bit trickier, but I really did make sure that I was as like present in the moment as possible. So I wasn't walking while I was on my phone. I wasn't, no, let me flip that around. I wasn't on my phone whilst I was walking. I, yeah, I literally was trying to look out for people and say hello and do all those sorts of things because I know with my resting bitch face that if I like look at you and I'm not actually seeing you, it's probably not the best thing to, and it's not the way I want to visually represent myself or my brand either. So yeah, I think it's really interesting. Okay, next thing we have to talk about is reclaiming your attention. Okay, so I'm going to play you another tune and then we're going to come back and I'm going to talk about this because this is going to just be so interesting. And like when I tell you I'm going to go on a deep dive on this, not today, but I will. So enjoy this next mix. Anytime I hear that song remix, I can't help but absolutely fall in love with it. It's the best thing in the world. Okay, let's talk about reclaiming your attention. And if you're here with me live, sorry, you're going to see in the video replay that Mel's just come to say hello, like she does. Hi, baby. This is the best part about recording from home. You don't get this in a studio. Okay, reclaiming your attention. So I noticed that whilst I was in the plane, I found this very, very easy. So I had all of my good stuff downloaded. I went through 2 seasons of stuff. Okay. One of those things was the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. So that new series is out. So America's Sweethearts, whatever they're calling it. So binged that, got through that in the plane. So obviously the plane ride was brutal. I already alluded to that. And I was like really struggling because like I don't fit in planes and I was just over it. Just had enough. But then last night I noticed again, because I had like another show to download, that I was like, I just want to get home. Like I'm just not interested in this. Like instead of trying to sort of like, sit where I was and just kind of like roll with it, I was, and then I was also annoyed and I kind of like, I think this actually stems from when I used to work in corporate and I was really nervous and when I used to fly overseas because I used to always fly the Perth to Heathrow flight. So that was like an 18-hour, 16-hour, 18 anyway, massive, massive flight. And I was always so nervous because obviously I had no reception in the plane and I was worried about what I was going to be turning my phone onto when I landed because I'd had experiences in the past where it was like I had 700 missed calls from my boss and like a gajillion emails of being like, what about this? And what about this? And it's just like my nervous system just wasn't not okay. And yeah, so I find even though obviously the flight from Darwin to Adelaide was considerably shorter, I still worry about like what I'm going to turn my phone onto. So maybe that's something for me to work on. But the point of all of this is when I'm watching shows, I also will be on my phone and I notice I just quickly check my phone just to kind of see what's going on. And the other thing I notice as well is that when I am making a conscious decision to have a bit of a scroll through TikTok or whatever, actually Facebook Reel or Facebook videos, whatever they're called, Reels, I'm really loving recently. My algorithm is being very, very interesting. So I find that I like to have something on in the background whilst I am literally not conscious of it. I'm literally scrolling through TikTok. But I like to have something playing in the background. And I know that there are other people like that because I've seen so much content specifically on that. It's like finding the perfect show so I can doom scroll. Like it's absolutely wild that this is what we're doing. Okay, so let's talk about screen time from the experts first of all. So cutting screen time and escaping the algorithm has gone from a guilty New Year's resolution to a genuine wellness movement. I have never heard of this. No scroll September. I want to do that. what are we in now? June. We've got some time. And digital minimalism challenges that millions are now joining. No scroll September. I'm here for it. Okay, let's talk some stats. Australians spend on average 2 hours 58 minutes on their phone, and teens average around 7.5 hours of screen time a day. Okay, well, that's not a great start. Holy moly. Okay, I would probably spend more than 2 hours and 58 minutes. I'm definitely on the higher end of average there. Classic overachiever. But in my defense, I do have to find content and I do have to create content. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a grace on that one. But that is just wild. Wild. Can you imagine, like 7.5 hours? That's literally like a work day. Like, oh, God. Anyway, and now another stat which I found super interesting is we check our phones somewhere between 96 and 144 times a day, right? And this is why I think doing things like having a wallpaper that like is like an affirmation or a saying or a reminder or whatever, I think is really fun because you're literally programmed to pick up your phone anyway. Why not have something that's like really cute on it to look at and really motivating and really inspiring? And then I can't remember what it was. I'd done one course. I can't remember. It was a while ago. And basically she said every time you open your phone, you have to say something that you're super grateful for. And I really liked that concept as well because I've been trying to tap more into gratitude recently. And I think I might readopt that habit. I mean, I literally did by putting a Post-it note on my phone. So that like I literally physically had to remove this Post-it note to like check my phone. And I found because I knew it was there that I just didn't check it as regularly because I was like, well, like I'm just going to notice the Post-it note. And then by that time I'd forgotten what I was going to open my phone to do because I was like, no, I need to be grateful for something. No need to. I get to be grateful for something. And then I was obviously only going on there just to check notifications. So then my brain was automatically like, well, probably don't need to do that right now. So it's actually a really good practice. I'm going to bring it back in. All right. So this one like actually floored me. Like this is wild. So after a single digital interruption, it takes the average person over 20 minutes to get back into deep focus. 20 minutes. Like you check your phone like 3 times in an hour, you're basically not freaking concentrating because by the time you like reconcentrate, you're checking your phone again. Like wild. And then this one is probably my favorite out of all of this that I read. Even 60 minutes of phone free time a day has been shown to lower stress and improve sleep. 60 minutes. Like that's all we have to reduce. So I think because these apps and literally this algorithm is like they're literally engineered to give us dopamine. Like that's why we get so addicted to it because that's literally what they're engineered to do, right? So their whole business model and it's like what the advertising industry used to be a little bit. So if you remember as a kid, you would like have those ads that you would be able to recite back. And like I'm showing my age here, but before like digital TV and before like when we had like 3 stations and you would have to like in the middle of the ad break, you would have to go and do everything in that time because you couldn't pause the show. Like if you just missed it, you missed it and there was no catch up. 90s kids, hope you feel me right now. In that time, we had, I guess, a lot less sort of things coming at us from every angle. Like we would have like I remember so clearly we would have the like top 3 shows that we would watch and then because we were a little bit restricted when it came to watching TV and like dad was just like nuts on like making us go to bed like friggin' 7 o'clock in the evening when we were in primary school. That one I do remember. But it is wild to me that we had that time of not instant like dopamine fixes. Like I know like I feel like it was harder to access. So you would like plan your night out by what shows were on TV because that was kind of like, yeah, what you sort of had to do. So I feel like it's really interesting to understand what I called it the Netflix generation. I thought I was being a little bit harsh when I said that, but at the same time is like the on-demandness of life now actually makes it actually makes you not want to delay any kind of gratification because you can get it instantly, like right away. Right. So, and if you think about like our phones when we were kids, and again, this is 90s. So I'm talking like the Nokia days of like 3310s. And actually, I think the first one I had was like a 5210. It was like my grandpa's. It was awesome. And then like the most we had on there was like Snake and stuff. And that was cool. Like that was really fun to play. Anyway, where I'm going with my advertising thing is I feel like social media now is what advertising was for us and kids. So as kids, so we would be able to remember certain slogans from certain campaigns, like even And it's only because I was listening to Hamish and Andy, one of them. I can't remember which episode it was. And there was one guy on there who said he was like excellent at recalling adverts and like jingles and stuff. And it was wild because it was like a real flashback. And I was like, oh my God, like you literally, because we were so kind of engaged in what we were doing and there was a lot less distractions. Like I feel like advertisers now, and I know even in marketing, that we've got a lot harder over time to actually grab people's attention, because instead of us sort of having family time and watching a show and then even talking about the show, like I remember, God, I think it was called Sale of the Century. I reckon it was. I'm pretty sure that was what it was called. And like we used to watch that every night. And then it was like the cue for us, like as soon as that finished, that was when we would have to go to bed. And now I think about the way that I consume media and I am like, oh, just one more episode and then I'll go to bed. And just like one more episode and I'll go to bed. Like it is just wild, the difference in between like what we had back then and what we have now. And again, I worry so much about the next generation coming up because they have no idea what it was like to sprint to the bathroom and grab something and then come back and just make sure like we didn't miss a show, or having to wait until the end of the year for a full season of your favorite shows to come out on video and stuff like that. So I look at the way that we chase those hits of dopamine now, and it literally is can be as easy as opening your phone and seeing that somebody's liked your Facebook post or your Instagram post or whatever. Like that's how easy it is. And I find that there would be whole departments within TikTok or Instagram that actually like are hired for this specific purpose, right? To keep you engaged in those apps and to keep you, within like their ecosystem, obviously, because then they can share your data and monetize the hell out of you because they can put ads there. Because again, I would love to know that, and I might actually look at this purely just for funsies, how much it cost back in the day to sell an advertising space on like prime time, which would have been, I don't know, what was that show? Hey, Hey, It's Saturday with Pluck a Duck. Like how much it would have cost to advertise 30-second spot then, and then what the stats would say in terms of like the demographic you were getting, the watch time, the cost per whatever. I find like that would be fascinating to then compare with like a TikTok ad, because I don't know about you guys, on my business page, I will get like spend $6 and reach $1.9 million. Like it is wild to me, like the difference. And oh yeah, mum said that's why you watch Titanic and then Blue Crush so many times. I think it's true. Like it's true. I would watch them repetitively, like to the point where now I swear to God, if I watched Blue Crush, like I think I still would be able to quote that movie word for word. Like it's just the other thing, and this is not what I was going to talk about because I have this later on for the week, but the idea of people with ADHD specifically that will have like comfort shows. So I think that was what it was for me as a kid, because comfort shows are basically anything you can watch that you can like watch unconsciously effectively, and know what's coming next. So it's a way for our nervous systems to actually settle and calm down, is because, I knew what was coming up next in Blue Crush because I had watched that show a million times. The other one that I loved as well, actually, like this is when I really wanted to be like this surfer girl. And I absolutely love Kate Bosworth in that movie. She's so beautiful. And the other one for me was Center Stage. And then I was like, I wanted to be a dancer, and I was really motivated and really excited. And then I actually remember as well when I think my brother and I went and watched it together in the cinema. God, this is like real deep cuts here. We went and watched Charlie's Angels for the first time. And you know how like those movies like back then just made you feel stuff? Like I walked out of the cinema and I was like, I can be an action hero, obviously. So I feel like even the movie industry now is changing so dramatically. And we are just, when we're starved for entertainment, in the fact that like stuff that we found unbelievable back in the day, like the cinematic production of Blue Crush, I'm sure if I watched it, actually to be fair, I haven't watched it, but I'm going to. I'm sure the cinematic production of it is like not going to be great in comparison to like what we have now. But I think for me, it'd probably just be the nostalgia and just be like the happiness, because like, when you're a kid, life's considerably simpler. So to like transform me back to that time. And that's what I love, actually. I'm going completely off topic here, but like this is just, we're just going to roll with this. Talking about attention spans. See, literally, I can't even stay on track. And this is why I need my run sheets. And this is why it actually is a massive issue that my iPad has just gone flat. But we're going to roll with it. It's fine. If I, look back to, and do you know what the other one was also? Scooby-Doo. Like the Scooby-Doo with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. And that one, I think we watched as kids like a gajillion times. Also, same as Shrek. We watched that many times. And I truly believe that if I watched them right now, I would be able to quote them word for word. Yeah, it is absolutely wild. Whereas now I just don't think that we're super present when we're watching things. Like, I haven't been to the cinemas in a really long time. I couldn't even tell you the last movie I saw at the cinema. Oh, yes, I can. It was Barbie, and I was with my best friend Casey and Jess. So, yeah, the three of us went, and we sat in those seats, and I forget what they're called, but like they actually like move and like vibrate and like do stuff when there's something happening in the movie. So even cinemas are tapping into like our other senses to try and keep us engaged and to try and fight the like social media generation, because it actually gave me like motion sickness, to be fair. Like, I wouldn't pay extra for those seats again. And it was like really annoying because I was trying to eat my popcorn and then like, my seat's vibrating and shit's going everywhere. But I really find it amazing to think like that they're trying to do really immersive experiences like that. And I think the other reason why I so desperately want a hobby or something fun or a whatever is because like now to sort of like chill out and unwind and do things like that is my chill out time, is when I can sort of like scroll through. And if you think about the stuff that we're actually watching, like I'm watching reaction videos, like Christian Hull's reaction videos, I find so entertaining. And if you think about what I'm actually consuming, I'm consuming some dude I've never met in my life, literally watching videos and reacting to them. And I will watch that the whole time. Like, that is just wild to me. So as I go through my little hobby journey of life, and I've already nailed them down to a few. So I'm going to steal Mum's guitar and I'm going to learn how to play guitar. And I'm just going to do that through YouTube because I want to. The second one I'm going to do as well, Mum gave me the list of, or the name of the person that she went to when she did her singing lessons. So the next one I want to do is singing as well. And yeah, so I think that was it. And then the other one, and this actually is my wanting to mix business with something I find really fun. I want to learn how to play golf. Now, I took golf lessons a little while ago. Well, I took golf lessons. That's a stretch. I took a golf lesson a while ago down my local golf course, and I wasn't immediately great at it. So I was just like, this is just not for me. But I have a very strategic reason as to why I want to play golf. So if you think about anything manifestation and anything putting yourself around people that have the things that you want and people that live the life that you live and people that have the bank accounts that you would like and have the success and all the things, I look at like anytime you drive past a golf course, and this is a wild generalization. Like, I just want to preface that. Like, I understand what I'm about to say now is so generic and so general that like I almost don't want to say it, but I'm going to. You drive past like the flashy golf club here in Adelaide, which is like Grange Golf Club or even like Henley Beach. The types of people that attend those places, right? And the types of cars you see in the car park and all of those sorts of things is like they're doing well for themselves. Okay. So if I can put myself in situations with people like that, knowing my networking skills, also knowing that I can handle like an hour being the networking queen. Okay. So I can play golf and I can like probably, I mean, I'm going to have to get an instructor again because like otherwise it's going to take me 7 years to complete like 9 holes. But yeah, then I can go to the clubhouse after, mingle, meet new people, whatever, kind of see and be surrounded by successful business people. And then I can, yeah, because that's just the sorts of people I want to surround myself with. Even like, I actually had this really cool thing once and like, again, this would have been on social media. Like, this is truly like a testament to like my unbelievable non-ability to focus. Okay. So, and that was the other thing why I wanted to do something with a hobby that would require me to actually like be more present. So yeah, well, tennis is the other one. Okay. So after golf, so it's pickleball. So tennis, I loved tennis as a kid and I actually wasn't terrible at it. And so now pickleball, I feel like a lot of people my age are involving themselves in pickleball. So that was the other one. So what did I say? A guitar. Mum, I need to come get the guitar. Singing. I'm just singing lessons. And then maybe I can sing my songs. Or actually, I'll play Mum's songs as well in this because she's written a song, which is wild as well. It's just like the coolest mum ever. And then I'm going to learn how to golf purely to meet new friends and to surround myself with cool people, and then play pickleball because then I feel like I'll meet people that are like vibey like me. And I feel like a lot of ADHD people that like need that constant stimulation. I feel like pickleball is great for us. They are my new hobbies that I am going to be focusing on in the next month because I really want to, look, I'm going to be kind to myself here because obviously the reason I haven't done a lot of things like in the last couple of years in particular is because my health has just been so trash. And I had to make a decision between having the ability to earn an income in a business or like go out and live my life. And I chose to make money so that I could live. So now that I am in such a better space physically and mentally, I am really excited to have something else to talk about besides like, whoa, what did you get up to last night? Oh, I was in agony. So I went to sleep at like 7:30 and then woke up and I was in pain during the night. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a real freaking grim, let me tell you. So I'm super excited. If you have any recommendations for me, especially if you're in Adelaide, let me know. I will also be making a hiatus up to the Gold Coast for a few weeks. I have got stuff that I've got going on up there at the moment. And then I will be going to Townsville. Oh, I'm so excited. Townsville is truly one of my favorite race rounds ever. Like last year was just the biggest vibe ever, 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 ever. And also because like I'll be going to the Gold Coast for like an extended period of time. And whilst I have, I know people up there and I have friends up there, to me, Gold Coast now is what Bali was during COVID. Like it seems to me that everybody is like upping and leaving to the Gold Coast. So I really would love to meet other entrepreneurs and like creative people like me. And the other thing I love doing as well, because I always stay, with my driver, I usually stay with him while I'm there and he lives in Hope Island. And if you've ever been to Hope Island, it is, again, quite a affluent area. There is like there's a golf course there too. Yes, set. Anyway, and like people actually they actually go there and like they commute via a golf buggy. Like this, like is the best thing in the world. So yeah, I'm excited to and there's actually the other place and it's called Yacht. So it's like YOT and it's a full ass yacht club. And so yeah, I feel like surrounding myself with vibes and with kind of energy like that is exactly the types of people and exactly the type of vibe and scenery that I am excited to surround myself in. And also coming from Darwin, where it was like 30 degrees every day, back to Adelaide, where when I got home last night it was 4 degrees. It was just savage. So like I was the only person in the airport that had long pants on and a jumper on, and everyone else was still in shorts and t-shirt. And I was like, you guys are going to regret that when we land. Learn the hard way. So yeah. Anyway, I've digressed beautifully and proven a beautiful point about how we struggle to concentrate on anything that we do and any kind of bright, shiny light or new thing. And that is okay. So as obsessed as I am to have a chat, and good morning, Jem. So nice to see you. Yeah. As awesome it is to be able to have chats. And when I forget things, my mother to like plug those holes for me because she remembers things. It's absolutely awesome. And at the same time, I sort of like find myself being distracted by the two. And I still think it is absolutely wild that, because like I guess the thing with this radio show that like you don't hear is I've got producers talking to me in my ear as well at the same time. So if you're like, why is she wearing an earpiece when she's talking to herself and nobody else? It's because I've got the production team like talking and saying stuff to me. So I've had to factor all of these into like putting something still that is interesting together for people to listen to, all the whilst I decided I wanted to have a live chat with people. And all the while I have producers in my ear telling me to do things or to move on or to the recording's doing this or like which one did you want to play next and like all this other stuff. So yeah, I think the ability to be able to multitask is a great one, but it is truly a fine art in my life these days to solely focus on one thing and give it all, unless I'm in a hyperfixation, I guess, then I can literally not focus on anything else but that one thing. And given I got all of my fancy new recording equipment now, that will probably be that. And I won't really want to do anything else with the rest of my day. But, we can't. We're a little bit behind, courtesy of all the traveling I've done in the last couple of days. So, yeah, I'm excited to continue to see how I go with, I guess, traveling as much as I have been and getting back into that side of things again, whilst juggling the show as well. And whilst obviously it gives me greater access to cool people and to do all these things, it's also, I guess, always on my mind, and I'm always thinking of like, what interesting topics can I come up with, and what can I talk about, and like, how can I make this engaging for people, and all these sorts of things, because at the end of the day, like, I've got 6 months to prove the concept of this show. Otherwise, yeah, it won't be here. So yeah, it's a really really fun little space to be in, where I've got all of these unbelievable exciting things going on, and yeah, I've told myself that I don't have a hobby and that I should have one, and that I'm going to try and add something else into my life at the same time. So there you go. Who the hell knows? Okay, I have one more song I want to play with you, and then I'm gonna play it for you, and then we're gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna let you get on with your days. Okay, so I have another confession to make. Every time I contact a local DJ or I do anything like that, I'm like, I want to be a DJ. So let's see how long I can stick with my other little new hobbies. And yes, I completely agree. I will probably need to like do one a month and kind of see where the vibe is. And because I want to like get back to a point where I work hard on one thing that makes me very, very happy and that's very exciting. Whereas like I know if I try these other ones, it'll be like, I'll try it for a bit and then like, I'm like, oh, that's not it. And I'll kind of like move on because I know I've got something else. Whereas with this, with being a DJ, so there's like this competition at the moment, and actually one of my girlfriends is doing it, and they've got, basically they put on a live audience for you to DJ to, and you have to prepare a set, and then yeah, go ahead and DJ to all these people. So it's really like, I was like, well, that gives me a deadline, right? Like that gives me, I would need to know my set list and have it perfected and do all these things by then. But then I think it's not the actual element of live performing for me. Like I think I would have fun doing it, but I think it is just the element of giving myself a deadline. I think I just love the idea of like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm like gonna have such a good time, like, knowing that the countdown is on to this big event where I'm gonna be DJing in front of all these people and it's gonna be like this vibe. But then it'll probably get like halfway through and I'd be like, do I really care about this? Do I really want to do this? It's like not really benefiting me. But that is the whole point, right? Like it is, I want to do anything and everything that like, the only reason the reason I'm not doing it is for like, career progression and stuff outside of like just having fun in my life again and just having that kind of like child's like play where you're just like really, really excited for something. Because, going on holiday and stuff like that, it's hits different when you work for yourself again, because you typically will be working when you're on holiday, which is fine. I have a super flexible lifestyle and I'm super grateful for that. But what I find different, and even what I found over Christmas, was that all I wanted to do was be at home, because all I was doing during the year is traveling, right? So it's just all of these kind of like different life things that I do differently to everybody else, which makes it hard for me to do traditional things to like either relax or to calm down or to, to whatever. So we're in this entrepreneurial, creative way of calming my nervous system, getting good amounts of dopamine, having lots of fun, and just trying new things. And that is going to include, now I'm either going to call it Saturday Scary or Sunday Scary, either, because yeah, because it'll be one of the 2 days that I'll be doing it. But basically I'm just going to do something that I'm really scared of, because I'm a bit of a fraidy cat. And the first one is going to be, I'm going to go in a helicopter because I'm terrified of helicopters. So I'm just trying to like get over my fears of stuff, and also like, yeah, just show my brain that I can do things and life isn't going to end if I do this one thing that seems really scary. So anyway, okay, thank you for bearing with me this morning. I hope you found some little wisdoms in that one. I hope you enjoyed the interviews that I got. Yeah, I really wish I got more, but it absolutely got away from me the weekend, so that's fine. There is always Townsville, and then I will literally carry my microphone with me everywhere so that I can get these interviews. Have a beautiful, beautiful Monday, and don't hustle too hard. Give yourself some love. Be grateful for a bunch of stuff. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning, same time. Bye.